BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup season comes to its conclusion here in Königssee in Bavaria, the most historic natural, artificially iced track in the planet, in a stunning location. A beautiful Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome wherever you are. Thank you for joining us for the second and deciding run in the 8th World Cup of the season. Martin Haven and John Morgan looking forward to lots more exciting action on this Bavarian track.
Well, Sun Bin-young, the unbelievable Korean who's been challenging all season long, including winning his first ever World Championship medal last week in Innsbruck in the World Championships. He's in a position to challenge the Latvian brothers, Thomas first. Well, you know, Thomas didn't have a very good World Championships in skeleton last week in Innsbruck, finished 6th. But he's, you know, been second a couple times this season, and today he's in second place, chasing down this guy named Martin Stukar's his brother, who's only won 7 of 8 races so far this year, including the World Championships. And if he completes today's run, if he just gets to the bottom, he wins his 7th consecutive World Cup title, which is, I don't know anybody else in sport has done what that guy's done.
His achievements in the last decade are just ridiculous. Martins and Thomas Stucars, they've had 1-1-2 this season. They were both in the silver medal position last World Cup race in St. Moritz in Switzerland. 20 sliders in the second and deciding heat. Anton Batuev of Russia will be first off. We send 8 back to join the crowd trackside here from our original field of 28. Starting with Ander Mirambo, again denied a place by 100. This
guy's
is starting
hard
to
luck.
get, yeah.
That's twice at least this year, if not 3 times.
Really tough work. So there is Rhys Thornberry, one of those that will go in the second heat, and Martin Stucars, as ever, almost always, will be last on the ice, defending a first-round lead and looking for his 7th win in 8 World Cup starts. Nathan Crumpton, World Cup rookie this season. What a good year he's had. Thomas Stucars lying in second position.
Canadians.
Yeah, that's Grizz and Mattia Gaspari as well, the 22-year-old Italian. Mikael Zakrau here on German ice for the final time, 4th and final time this season. And Alex Junk, big fan club here for him as well. Lots and lots of knowledgeable fans. Königssee is a small town steeped in sliding history, deep in the valleys of southeastern Bavaria.
Good crowd on hand. This is like going to a hockey game at the Montreal Forum.
But with less fighting.
Everybody knows their hockey at the Montreal Forum. This crowd here, they know their bobsled, their luge, and their skeleton. This is the hotbed of sliding here in the southern part of Germany. And here's our start list.
Anton Batuev of Russia first off, followed by the Kiwi Rhys Thornberry, Nathan Crumpton of the USA, and so on. Rookies Jack Thomas and Jerry Rice, 6th and 7th off. They were tied to the 100th of a second.
In their first ever World Cup.
First ever World Cup slide. So they're separated, or joined at the hip, those two, and they are in times as well. We get down into the serious money. Axel Junk in 6th position. Raphael Meyer had a great first run, and then the podium finishes. So here we go, final slide of the season. Anton Batuev of Russia gets World Cup number 8's last 20 sleds underway. The 31-year-old from Chusovoy.
Yeah, he didn't have a very good start. 26th best start, but with his experience, he's been around the World Cup for a number of years. With his experience, he drove himself into a 20th position. And when I say experience, you need experience to come down this track. Look at these 4 S-curves. Then this exit into this straightaway. Well, you can see it's not a straightaway, it's a bendaway. And to negotiate through there, and then you come into this, what they call a Kreisel turbodrome. I mean, it's whatever you want to call it, but it's difficult. And yesterday, the women, if you watched our broadcast, had all sorts of problems there, but here the men have made that section of the track look pretty tame. We've seen some problems here in the uphill section, though, Martin. And that's uphill, you can't make a mistake. You can lose a lot of time. And he's the first guy down, 51-52. That's 35 hundredths quicker. And, you know, Martin, the sun's gone down, except for the bottom part of the track. And the Echelon curve is covered by shades, but the rest of the track looks like it's gone in the cool part of the setting. And I think it's cooler, and I think it's faster.
Maybe so. We'll wait and see. Maybe he was just a little better on the second round. It was a bit of a disappointing first trip. Lots of height in the middle, pressure on the Kreisel. And how does he handle it? He has a skid on the exit here. Watch the runners get very sideways.
Well, you'll be sideways too if this is what you were looking at. And this is so tricky. The Canadians call it the doodles. That little labyrinth three-quarter combination. That's the tightest three-quarter combination on any track on the planet.
Kiwi Rhys Thornberry, born in Australia, lives in Oxfordshire, works at RAF Bryce Norton as a weapons technician. I know that he would like to say thanks to his bosses for giving him a season to compete on the ice at every World Cup race and the World Championships, the first time he's been able to do so. And he's reaping the rewards, more experience, more speed.
Yeah, this could, he wasn't making the cut at all last year. This year he's been doing it, and 23rd best start in the first run, something he's going to have to improve on. But obviously he's starting to figure out how to drive the sled. He's done pretty good this season.
Joined the World Cup the second part of the season, starting at Lake Placid, so he didn't race here pre-Christmas.
He had a 12th place finish in Whistler, but he had spent a lot of time on the North American tracks, but that 12th place that he had in Whistler, his personal best of his career.
Real highlight. Oh, had to wrestle it off the Kreisel there. You saw his left elbow sticking out as he hauled the sled around.
So mellow compared to yesterday.
32 hundredths ahead of Anton Batuev. And he was only 2 hundredths in front of the Russian after the first heat. So this is a much better slide.
Run. Yeah, so 51.36. He rockets down the track.
Wow, that would have left him
0.5 better.
Would have left him nearly 10th place in the first heat.
So the track's quicker. And if we're seeing these guys rocket down at 3 or 4, I don't know if we're going to see Mr. Ducar's challenge for the 50.49. The record's 50.03. So Mr. Ducars is going to have to do a half second better to break the track record. But Rhys Thornberry, he guarantees himself 19th. And considering he didn't make the cut last week in Innsbruck, that's a pretty good finish. Good way for him to end up the season.
Just had to wrestle it down into this lower labyrinth.
Look how close you get to the action. Yeah. I mean, you're on top of it. And we saw yesterday some females flying through the air.
Yeah, that was take a step back yesterday, wasn't it, when you're down there? This is Nathan Crumpton from the USA, 30-year-old, born in Nairobi in Kenya. Ivy League scholar. His childhood ambition, he said, was to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. This is nearly as death-defying, I think.
Well, his mother just right outside, just chatted to her. Yeah. She's been over here a lot at the World Championships, and she says she's a nervous mother. She can't really have she's going to go home and watch the broadcast, she said afterwards, but she has a hard time watching the big screen of her son coming down, the Princeton track and field athlete who stud very well. 8th place last week at the World Championships, the best American finish. He's got a start time. Now he just has to get the experience. And this track here, he's going to need another couple World Cups before he starts to figure this little challenge out.
Well, he didn't make the cut here pre-Christmas, so this is already that evolution, that development. Another half dozen slides in training and another week of competition allows him to build his knowledge.
Ooh, Doodles, watch out. He could lose his position here.
He'll go into the red.
Numbers, yeah, there's red, and that hard hit on the exit of Kreisel did him in. So he's going to fall back, and Rhys Thornberry is going to move up one to 18th.
And Nathan Crumpton is in second spot.
So Rhys looks on, and Duffy Latour knows that this track and field athlete right here got a lot of potential. Once he starts figuring out all these tracks, this guy could be in the mix in a couple of years.
Yeah. Former triple jumper. He said is the masochist's track and field discipline.
Well, look at his feet are apart here. He's not comfortable. Look at the red mark here. When you get up near that red mark, you're going to have some problems on the exit. We saw a lot of the female athletes yesterday, women's skeleton event, with a lot of problems like this. And watch his feet. Watch him struggling to get through here late. Watch this big hard hit. And that's skidding, and it's the way to lose 1700s like he did in the bottom.
There's your leader, Rhys Thornberry, and Nathan Crumpton greeted down the bottom by his teammates Annie O'Shea and Kendall Westenberg, who finished up their regular World Cup season yesterday. Switzerland's Marco Rohrer lies in 17th place after the first heat. And while Nathan Crumpton and Rhys Thornberry were tied to the 100th of a second behind him, they were only 600ths behind, so he boasts just 600ths in the bank over current leader Thornberry.
So Marco 19, best start in 84. Let's see if he gets any better. Little 78, much better start. It's got cooler. Tracks now in the shade. The sun will be setting behind the, even the finish curve won't have a sun on it here in about another half hour. Ooh, and remember, I think he had a hard hit. No, it's his teammate had the hard hit. So he's red numbers. But he was quick on the bottom in the first run. He's going to need to be quick on the bottom again.
Ooh, trying to get sorted out.
That looked good there. That was nice. Nice dive out of Kreisler. Slingshot effect through the labyrinths. And now he could pick up green numbers if he's clean here in the straightaway. Not clean.
Ooh, little tap on the wall. You heard it rather than saw it. And that will drag speed out of the sled. And he's second at the line by 500. He almost came back. Thornbury picks up 2 spots. So he'll be no worse than 17th. As we said, Rees didn't race here in December, so it's been a season and a bit since he was on this track.
See you next season.
Yes, we will. This is pretty good here. This is up at the exit of the S's. Sneaks out, doesn't get out of there clean, so that's what prevented him from 500's deficiency at the bottom. That was at least part of it. Then down here, he exits out of the Echo Von and touches the wall. Going uphill, no chance.
So Mark Aurora is out, and Rees Thornbury, our leader. Russia Sergei Chudinov, the 33-year-old from Chusavoy, was in 16th position after the first of our 2 heats here in Königssee, Bavaria. The season finale, 100th behind a tie in front of him.
Mr. Chudinov is the only guy in the back of the field that has World Cup medals in his resume. He got demoted to the Russian B team when the Russians started bringing in some young sprinters.
He's only got the 15th fastest start in our field, and that's part of his problem, is that when they get away so much faster than him at the top, it's almost impossible to catch them further down.
15 down to 10. That's good lines there through the Bender way. Let's see if he can maintain the line.
Good speed, best we've seen in the Chrysler, but working hard off the second pressure to get that exit right.
This is showing his experience now. He's done well on this track before, top 10 probably most of the competitions he's been in. And now in the twilight of his career, he still shows his experience. Good slide. 51.33.
Well, that was only 0.03 of a second quicker than Rees Thornbury came down, so most of that 2400s, 21 of it, was from the first heat.
Yep.
So Thornbury had a very good second run.
Still a couple tenths better than he was in the first run, so it's track still got some, it's got some speed in it. And here we are into the Echo Von, the exit. Look at his head, see if his head's up here in the exit. Yeah, he looks up. And the exit, the good sliders will come right down there because he looked up because he thought he was on the wrong side of the curve.
He was a little more committed in the first run, Chudy. Didn't quite get the exit there he wanted, but he is our leader with 15 to go. Two World Cup rookies from Great Britain in this final race of the season here, and they were not only joined at the hip throughout their career, they were joined to the 100th of a second in their first slide. A ridiculous story of invention that no Hollywood scriptwriter would take. On the left-hand side in the blue jacket, it's the youth Olympic champion who made her debut yesterday, Ashley Pittaway, And it's Mark Wood, the coach, the development coach, who lays the sled on the ice for the first of our 2 sliders, T-Tray Jack Thomas.
471, so you got some athletes here, both these British athletes. Great starts in the first run, the 4th and 7th best starts. Thomas, a sprinter, and been on the second tour. Look at the form.
25 years old.
Now watch his feet in the Chrysler. Let's see if he separates his feet and puts his toes out to a little rudder action here to control the oscillation points. Not bad. Let's see if he gets through here clean. No. Now he's got action, and now he's going to have red numbers the rest of the way. So Chudinov, who was pretty clean down here, except in this spot.
Chudy was only 100th behind them after the first.
He's way back. He's going to fall 3 or 4 places, and this shows the they are familiar with this track. 6th best time of the run. Laura Deese, who had She had quite a resume day yesterday for how not to do it, both runs, and I said, if you don't win, be spectacular. Well, she was spectacular for our TV cameras.
That was her 12.
Yeah.
Fans of Tin Cup will know that reference. Well, that was a tough second run for Jack.
Little skid here, and he's trying to stay off that wall, and then the bend around. Well, he's covering a lot of distance in that straightaway. That's not straight, but then here, tap. Then he goes to the left. His feet are coming up. Now he goes to the right. Now he's late. And now he has to hard steer, which the feet are swaying, and he went from +1 to +30. He dropped 5 places. Hopefully his teammate won't do the same.
The Riddler poses more questions. His dad, incidentally, coached Paralympic sprinters for London 2012. So he's got something in common with Dave Swift, another sprint coach son. Jerry Rice next up. Jerry, also 25 years old, from Watford, now lives in Amersham. A barman who loves his curry. What barman doesn't? And he's a rugby player, league, union, sevens. Anything with odd-shaped balls, he's up for.
I thought he's pretty much a union guy, fullback. Position I played a lot in my rugby days.
472 start, 100 slower than his teammate rather than 300s on the first heat.
Both these guys pretty confident coming in the other day when we got them for headshots in their bios. And that's pretty clean there. One tap. If he comes straight through here, this is pretty good.
1700s up on Sergei Chudinov.
Watch his feet. Is he comfortable? A little spread. He looks pretty good there. If he gets through here clean, this is a good run. Ooh, but it's down to 1600s. And Chudinov. Oh, this head's way up, Jerry Rice. Watch his head here in the straightaway. His head's up.
When Chudy started sliding, Jeremy Rice was still in secondary school. 500
red numbers coming. Red numbers.
Going to be close at the line. Chudy takes it by 200s.
Doesn't phase Chudy. He should be up in the top 10. He knows it. But hey, still, that was not too bad. He didn't drop 5 places like his teammate.
Well, he worked over his teammate, so.
Hey, and it's a great finish for him.
Yeah, there you go.
First ever World Cup. Congratulations, Jerry. Well, it's pretty hard to forget the name Jerry Rice. Yeah. Coming from the United States, told him that. He knew all about Jerry Rice, football player.
I'm sure he's heard that a few times.
Yeah. This is pretty good, but his head's way up. Look at how high, way up. So that's an aerodynamic detractor, and then it wasn't too bad, but I noticed his head was way up a lot of times down that track. And there's
Andy Schmidt, the head coach of the British skeleton operation.
Congratulations to those guys.
Yeah, great to see them on their debut, enjoying themselves enormously. Dave Kreshcheshin of Canada, well, he knows what that's all about. He made his World Cup debut at the beginning of last season, and in his second year on ice here, where did Grizz finish in this race? Ninth place.
So the Grizz, the biggest guy in the competition, looks like a rugby player. He is. Looks like a bobsledder. He's not.
He could be.
Big guy. Got the best helmet, one of the best helmets in the competition. 480.
Start.
Now he's got to be quiet in the sled. 485 in the first run. Start tracks quicker. Look at these 4 S's. Boy, they're so meticulous to get in, then exit out of them straight. Well, corrects. So here's a second hit, third hit. Sneaks there, watch his feet. Let's see how comfortable he is in this big bend around the Königssee.
Good speed at the Königssee, 111 kilometers an hour.
Foot off the ice.
9 miles an hour.
Wow, this is going to be close.
There we go. I think Chudy might pick off another one here.
He can be clean here. He'll have a chance. Let's see if he gets in the middle.
Good exit.
Oh, he is.
1700s, here we go.
So he got rewarded with the good exit out of Kreisel. Good on the Echo Bond, and finishes with 51.16.
That's a great run down.
Where would that put him in the first run?
100th out of 7th, 200 out of 6th, 300 out of the 5th, and 600s out of 4th. That would have been a really good run if he could have put 2 of those together.
So the Grizz, as we call him, he's our leader, but we still got a lot of action left.
Ends the run and the season with a big smile.
Thanks for watching this year. We'll see you next year.
Same channel there with the sled. She had a dramatic final run yesterday, but for different reasons.
Well, you see his toes up there. Now they're comfortable. Same in the first run, but he snakes through here very nice. So obviously this exit, he's slingshotted down to the bottom. He's the leader.
Not there.
Russia's Alexander Mutovin is the final one of our 3 Russian sliders in the field. And Mutovin looking to try and add another position or 2 up the order. This is a tight group of athletes, the 31-year-old, just a few hundreds really out of the top 10.
11th in Park City, best finish of the season. These 3 guys represent the Russian B team. The A team's back training for the national championships, which is a very important competition in the Russian program. And so he's got pretty good skills because he had a decent start in the first run, 12th best start, and you know he's got a lot of experience.
He's 11 hundredths ahead of our current leader, Dave Christian of Canada.
Watch his feet. See how comfortable he is here.
Same speed as Grizz at the Kreisel, but very low first pressure.
He gets out of there nice though. Boy, that's really good. That's so tame for what the women's skeleton athletes went through yesterday. And if they're watching the broadcast, they know. Oh, but it's down to 900.
Grizz got a great run out of the final corner.
Can't do it. Wow. Grizz, look up, man. You just, thank you.
So the cameraman was shouting at him as well. Hey,
look up. You just moved up a spot.
Yeah.
But Mutovin falls back 1, so.
Oh, look at that big sigh from him. Rats.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't know where he lost it. Just
well,
pretty good
what's
here.
The going away
right there?
Brushes the wall, but look at this. Look how much lateral movement there is. It's being flicked side to side.
And then here in the exit, if they go through the exit, watch how wrong side of the straightaway he's on here in the exit. And you see, he comes over here, that little tap gut's going uphill, so that's not where you want to exit that curve.
We may see him next year as well. Alexander Mutovin slips a spot. Next up is the 22-year-old Italian Mattia Gaspari from Cortina d'Ampezzo. See now, there's a nice place to be going home to. We're talking this morning about the chances of the track being regenerated, reopened.
I hope they don't include skeleton there. It would be fantastic for the bobsled world, but might be a little tough for the skeleton athletes. But talk about skeleton athletes and improvement. This Gaspari's had a good breakout year. He's 9th in World Cup points. And he just keeps getting better and better. And, you know, he's got a good start, too. He's got the 9th best start in this run. He had a better start than that in the first run.
Yep, 483, 487 in this one.
Yeah, he slipped there, but he's he's 12th in World Cup points. But last year he was struggling to make the top 20 on a consistent basis. This year, I don't think he's missed a cut.
The knowledge that you gain from being around on the ice is very limited every year because you only get 6 practice trips and then 2 in the race. That's 8 minutes on the ice, and then you forget it all in the next year and have to come back.
This is tight. This is right to the 100, 200s to 900s. Looks like he's got it, though. Hey, this is a young Italian slider. This gives the Italians some good hope as they go into the next couple of years into Pyeongchang. And he's had a good year. He's got to be very happy with where he was last year at this time to where he was this year.
Very definite upward trajectory for Mattia Gaspari. Primo photo.
Watch does he land with his chest or the feet? He might want to rethink.
Yeah.
Well, he lands with his chest.
But he kind of almost fell over the sled there, didn't he?
Yeah, this foot was at a bad angle. Your feet should be going straight ahead. His foot was halfway on an angle towards the sled, so he's got a little...
Well, do you know, they love the crowd here because they respond to all the athletes so warmly and enthusiastically. Mattia Gaspari of Italy, the leader, halfway through the final slide of the World Cup season here in Königssee.
Spectacular setting here. We've been so fortunate, Martin Haven, that we started off 2016 in Lake Placid, 2-time Olympic City, then off to Park City, 1-time Olympics, then off to Whistler, another Olympic site, and then to St. Moritz. Spectacular setting, 2 Olympic Games, then to 2 weeks at the Innsbruck World Championships, 2 Olympic Games, and now here to the hotbed of sliding in Königssee. We've been blessed.
Yeah.
This 5-6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 weeks.
Well, they had a bid going from Munich to hold the Winter Games as well. Königssee would have been part of that bid.
Latvians, crowd have arrived for good reason.
I wonder if they'll bid again from Bavaria. I'm sure they would love to. A big winter sporting heritage here. Of course, you've got the biathlon arena just up the road from us by the Königssee. Lots of alpine skiing, yeah, absolutely.
Look at this chicane bend away. It's not a straightaway. Then that big turbodrome.
And look at the way that you don't see from the cameras. You go up quite steeply uphill into the top of the Kreisel. That's the first pressure, carries you up. And then you exit underneath yourself and hurtle on down the hill. There's your race leader, Matteo Gaspari of Italy. And that smile, I think, reflects the way his season has been all year long.
Look at that little building up there.
Top right-hand corner, the peak there. Now, Sophia Griebel there with Jacqueline Lurling in the other yellow jacket down below. They've got the banner out supporting their boys, Mikael Zakrau, Axel Jung. And that orange rabble, that's all the Jung fan club as well. I say rabble in the nicest possible way.
Three German sleds coming up here in the last 8.
Yeah. And their teammates, like everybody else, is here. All the female athletes who competed yesterday out supporting their male teammates. 10 sleds to go in the World Cup season in Königssee, Bavaria. Mikael Zakrau, the first of our 3 Germans, lies in 10th place after the first heat. Just 21 years old, this World Cup rookie.
7th in World Cup points, and his best finish was on this track, and 7th in St. Moritz.
Yeah.
But 8th here at this event in December. This guy is just quietly getting himself experienced. He's the third, one of the 3 German sleds we're going to see here coming up. And this guy's had a really good season.
Yeah, made his debut in the World Cup at the final race last year at Sochi, so this completes his first full season, and he's really come on strongly.
He represents a very young German team, and they're very well positioned 2 years out of the games. Not 1 slider, but 3.
In fact, I was looking back at the results here. Christopher Grother raced here for Germany. He did the first 3 races of the season.
Way up high there. Ooh, it's double mistake, but he should have enough here. It might be at single digits with that, but...
Coaches were throwing their hands in their heads. He stays in the top 10.
Jens Mueller, the architect of this successful German skeleton team, the former Olympic gold medalist in luge at the '88 Olympic Games in Calgary. And he has been bringing this German team forward, and they are so better positioned now for Pyeongchang than they were 4 years ago heading into Sochi.
11th place here in December. He will guarantee at least a top 10 finish.
Down here on the exit of this, you know, it was a black hole for the women's skeleton yesterday. Today, the men are coming through here like it's, you know, an Autobahn, no problems.
Like somebody plowed the extra lane.
Now he comes down here, and then he goes back up in the outlet and watch him hit. Now this is going uphill. This is one of the worst mistakes you can make. Uphill for the last 200 meters.
And that's why he was cursing himself. But the smile is back for Mikael Zakrau. There's the fan club. They see themselves on the screen. And their boy down there. So Barrett Martineau for Canada, 9th, was 0.05 of a second only quicker than Mikael Zakrau. Top Canadian in the field. And Bear, the top Canadian in World Cup standing, and he's not actually, Dave Chris Cheshin was, I can't do the maths, he was 50 points in front.
Yeah, they're close.
So this is a battle for supremacy to come out as the top Canadian over the year.
No, this is a 104-point difference, it looks like to me. So he just gets to the bottom, he emerges as the #1 ranked Canadian, and he had a very good first run in the bottom half of the track. So Barrett is starting to show that he's got a little ability. He gives up time at the start, which is why he's down to 100, but he's doing that against one of the Germans. And he's red numbers, needs to be perfect here. Watch him through the doodles. Ooh, not good. Tap, pressure, feet are together. He could catch him down here, though, with a clean exit here. Echo run, watch him, middle of the straightaway. Not bad, down to 7.
700.
So he could get him here, he could get him.
A little larger than
it's going to be close.
No, it goes out. No. 51.
So Zakrau moves up. Still, that's a great run for Barrett, no?
So Bear Martineau in second place. Chris Chechin only 2 spots behind him. The gap between them coming in 52 points, 56 points, I think. So Chris Chechin will stay in front. There's Jane Channel going to help out with the sled.
He finished 12th here at the event in December, so he's going to finish here in the top 10. And here it's, you know, again, the Canadians gave this little section down here of the track called the Doodles. Well, there's what you don't want to do. You don't want to hit that exit, because then you're late all the way down and a lot of steering and body. You're lean left and right. We'll watch the good guys come down with no problems coming through there.
His teammate Grizz finished 3 spots in front of him last time. He's going to finish 2 in front of Grizz at least. Next up for the USA, Matt Antoine. Finished 9th in the World Championships last week. But this track where the start doesn't have quite so much of an effect, he was more securely in front of his teammate Nathan Crumpton. Ramalama Ding Dong. Matt Antoine of the USA, ready for the final slide in Europe of the season, heading home then for North America's Cup action and the US Championships.
Struggles at the start, as he has all year. 22nd best start in the first run, and that's not going to be much better here in the second run. Maybe he'll be in the probably 18th or 19th start, but there's only 20 guys in the field. But Matt, you know, he won a bronze medal in Sochi. He had the 3rd best start and the 3rd best down time because he's a good slider. So here, though, with that start deficiency, he's got to have a perfect run on a very difficult track, especially coming up right here.
The gap was 0.05 of a second from the start. It's out to 0.14 behind.
But here he comes. Look at that. That was a good line. Yeah. This is what this 6'3" athlete from Wisconsin knows how to do. Slide. He just got to get his start time back. And perfect. Look at that.
A 10th in front could be 2 tenths by the line because he had a really good exit there.
That shows you what this...
Look at that. 3,200s.
50.80. That would have put him in second place in the first run. But the track's faster. It's got the shade is on it.
Yeah.
But Matt Antoine, boy, went to that radical start at the end of the season last year, and that didn't help. And he's trying to get back to what he was. And they'll figure that out. He'll get better at the start. Boy, he looked uncomfortable getting on that sled.
When we watch the go-away down through the lower labyrinth, watch the way, we may not see it, but the way he swiveled the hips just to get the sled, to get just the hip movement.
Look how quiet he is here. A little bit of a skid, but he's not much of a mistake there. He was flying on the bottom.
That was a great-looking run from the American. 7 sleds to go. Bavaria's Kilian von Schleinitz, the 2nd of our German athletes inside the top 10. The final World Cup race of the season on his home track, Berchtesgaden, Bavaria. And this 22-year-old Bavarian police trainee, brother slides loose for the German team as well. Comes from a very historic family down in this part of the country.
79, should get 75 or 76. There's 77, better. First run. But this kid's had once he got back on tour the second half of the year, he's been impressive.
Well, Christopher Groverhair started the season but was then injured in Lake Placid, and we haven't seen him since, and that's allowed von Schleinitz to take a spot on the team.
6th in St. Moritz at the European Championships, the best finish amongst the Germans. 7th last week at the World Championships in Innsbruck, Austria. And if there's ever a track that he's familiar with, this should be the one.
Not a bad exit, 2 tenths up on Matt Antoine.
He went through there, no problem.
He was 3 tenths up, and Matt has a lot of body mass over him down at the bottom of the track.
Down to 12, this is going to be close.
He may not hold on. Only 100 meters or so to the line. 5. Wow, just. Still. And he survives on his first round advantage.
So there's another German at the top of the leaderboard. This kid, again, there's brothers in Luge. You know, he's from the area. It's another one of those guys who went to that school.
I think so.
Yeah, with their little school, sports school, right down the road from here. There's a whole wall of athletes that we've all been covering over the years. And little mistake here on the exit of the S's, but didn't steer away from it too badly. You know, you got to just take your medicine, move on, and look at his feet. Oh, he was real uncomfortable there on that first oscillation point. But pretty good on the bottom.
Kilian von Schleinitz is our leader. We've got a picture of his brother Julian down at the bottom, but they haven't got Kilian on the board yet. That needs to change. Next up, Axel Jung. Now, he's not Bavarian, comes from the Oberhof region, so where Andre Lange and so many other great sliders came from. Lying in 6th place after the first of our 2 heats. Martin Haven, John Morgan with the final men's skeleton race of the BMW IBSF World Cup season.
He's only 100th in front of the German, Kilian von Schleinitz at the bottom. So this is a race for the #1 German spot. Don't think that's not important to end the season.
Axel Jung lying 4th in the World Cup standings. He will finish the year as the best-ranked German. Teammate Mikael Sandkran 7th.
This has been the best German performer of the season, though. Consistent all the time. And this guy, we're putting a lot of trust in him. He should be the #1 slider to emerge as we go into Pyeongchang. And like I've already mentioned, the Germans are well positioned with a very young team 2 years before the games in Korea. Big lead.
World Championship gold medalist in a team competition in Eagles last week and also last season in Winterberg in Germany.
4th at the World Championships last year, just out of the medals. And today, 50.60.
Wow, that's a stunning run.
Boy,
that
the
would have left him
second.
very close to Martin Stukel.
1100. So, you know, looking at the leaderboard here, looking at the times, Dukars did 49 in the first run, 50.49. He could be doing 50.20, get near that record.
Well, he's just come down 2/10 quicker than anybody else has managed so far in this second heat.
Well, that's what he's done the whole season. He's been very consistent slider, 4th in World Cup points, 4th in the World Championships. Great season for this young German. Here, he didn't get through the doodles perfectly, but I don't know if this is going to be good enough to move him up, but that track is so different, that doodle section, that labyrinth, than it was yesterday.
Getting quicker and quicker. There's the Axel Jung fan club. Their man is the race leader with 5 sleds to come here.
Jung, von Schleinitz, and Antoine, just, they're the top 3 so far.
Big story from the first heat was the return of Raphael Meyer to form that has eluded him for the better part of 2 seasons. The youngster from Austria missed the World Championships with illness and is now back, and what a run he had in the first heat.
Start time, the 15th best start in this heat, which is the worst start we've seen so far. This kid rocketed on the bottom, shocked us, and I think he shocked himself.
I think he did.
He missed last week's World Championships. He was hurt. He was wounded on some kind of a bronchial problem, right?
On the antibiotics that caused his teammate to pass out after the team race, and so they banned him from competing because he was still on the antibiotics. But he's making up for it here.
He's way off, though. Whatever he did in the first run, it did not happen in the second run.
Right.
Now the question is, how many places? He could fall 5 places.
5 spots down so far. Now
he's coming back.
Close
only 3 places. He's going to be in 4th.
4th or 5th. 4th of the line.
Best time of the run. Look at that. Oh, so then... But still, this is a great finish for Raphael Meyer. His brother, we'll see his brother Benny, who had an unbelievable World Championships last week in the 2 and 4-man in Austria, and posted a 5th in the 4-man. Sliding family, these Meyers from Austria. And this is a great finish for him. What a great way to end the season.
No worse than 8th. He's had 2 races this year, a 16th and a 17th place finish, and he will finish no worse than 8th. Well, whatever he did in the first heat, do that again and do it all next year.
So now we get to the serious part.
Well, we are in a very close group of athletes, from Kilian von Schleinitz up to Dom Parsons of Great Britain. We had 4 sleds covered by 0.04 of a second. Parsons in 4th place, looking to try and break into the medals. 1700s in front.
It's going to need a big-time start to challenge here.
I like Axel. He's got a little T-shirt message there for the fans and the sponsors.
Listen to this crowd. Down here right next to us. 477 in the first run. Dom should go better. This is a great track and field athlete.
He needs to break out the big guns.
74, 75.
Hasn't quite had the starts he wants so far the second half of the season.
Same.
Yep.
Good entry. This is one of the taller guys, 6'3". Doesn't have the start he had when we saw him in 2013 as we entered the Olympic season when he won a medal up in Calgary. Went, wow, this guy's got some talent, but injuries,
long skid.
Injuries have sent him
And another.
a little bit in the back here. On the bottom part of the tracks where he made his money in the first run, he's going to need to do it again.
Great speed, 1:11.8, really high speed in the
But he's
Kreisel.
way behind, and Axel Young was perfect down here. I don't know.
Here we go, flying on his Bromley sled. What's he got at the bottom?
14, he's coming back. He's going to run out of track. He's going to run out of track.
Behind Axel Young, but not by much.
Oh.
Yeah, not by much.
The German crowd loves it, but still great finish for Don Parsons. It's not bad, top 5 in the final run in Königssee. Shows anybody that can come down the track like he just did, shows that you have talent driving the sled, and he's also got a decent start.
Yep.
Not only the 9th best start in this run, so he didn't have the better start. Big, tall frame athlete gets on. Now watch him start to settle into the sled here. Watch the body movement, up and down. Look at his feet are still. He's not set there yet. Now he's settled. Now he takes the 6'3" frame here on the exit of the S's. This was worth 500s.
Yeah. And then he makes the tap, gets another long skid going as well. Basically skidded all the way down the straight, where straight is fast and sideways ain't. There's Jackie Narracott.
Iron Man.
3 sleds to go. Race leader Axel Jung. He may yet take a medal. Sunmin Jung of Korea, the winner of the last World Cup race in St. in Switzerland, ahead of both the Ducours brothers, who he currently chases.
Best start in the competition of the first run. 63, 59. This is some athlete who's got, we talk about people with their body look, their body type. Sprinters, 100-meter runners, 800-meter runners. This guy's got quads like a track cyclist. No one, even in the bobsled sport. Maybe Lascelles Brown, the Canadian brakeman, might have quads like this guy. And he's an accomplished slider.
3,700's the advantage over Axel Jung and growing.
Won his country's first ever World Championship medal last week. Second Asian to do it. Kazumiro Koshi of Japan did it in 2003. And boy, is he bringing a lot to the sport of skeleton as we enter the Korean market in the next years.
Right, in the next weeks, because the homologation event will happen in about 10 days' time in Pyeongchang, the brand new track. There's a new young convert to the sport.
He'll finish second. He'll finish second in World Cup points. His teammate in two-man bobsled is probably going to win the World Cup title here later today. Wow. Is the sport of bob and skeleton well positioned to go into Korea with the Korean top athletes like this?
They have found a real gem in this kid. Second year in the World Cup, and he will be
Look at his quads, though.
runner-up.
If they tilt down, show the quads on this guy. His quads are just, I mean, I just can't believe the size. Look at his legs. I mean, oh, he's a big man.
2 to go. We have a Korean leading from a German. Will we have 1 or 2 Latvians on the podium? Or could we possibly have none? Seems unlikely.
Thomas Ducar is going to have to get away in a low 70 start. Match what that Korean just did.
10th of a second advantage over 1 from the first of the 2 heats here.
But he ran 75 in the first start. 10 hundredths down. He's going to have to stay within 10 hundredths of him here. 73, so he's already in the red numbers. Sunmin Jung does not like the Kreisel. That's been his nemesis on 2 different tracks, Altenburg. But here he's done very well. He was no worse than a bronze medal. And Thomas Ducar, who tied his brother to the 100th of a second for the European Championship a couple of weeks ago in St. Moritz. What are the odds on that? 2 brothers winning the European Championship to the 100th of a second.
A lot of work with the hips. He's not in control of the sled here. He's in the red and staying in the red.
That was not smooth in the doodles.
Big speed at the bottom. Might.
He's going to fall. He could fall.
Close, but he won't be back in front. Jung won.
No, silver medal for
Sunmin Jung, rather. Jung won. That was later on. Sunmin Jung has the lead. Now, he won the last World Cup race, beating both Ducours brothers. Could lightning strike twice? Is that Dennis? Dennis with the lederhosen. Nice.
Just the father. Nice job, Dennis.
That's excellent.
We know where you bought that downtown.
That is excellent.
Well, this wasn't smooth for a very experienced slider. Toes are out. Watch the body wave in here. So you can see, he's struggling to get through that. And
well, there the track is guiding the sled, which is not what you want.
Bronze medal, though,
Yeah.
Fans love it.
At least a bronze medal. One to go. Looking for his 7th win of the season will be Martin Stukur's, our World Cup points leader. And this to seal the Crystal Globe.
Iron Man at the bottom and Superman at the top.
Unless he fails to finish, he will be the World Cup winner for the 7th straight season.
I think he still gets 20th place points.
He will do, unless he's DQ'd.
Well,
he is 205 points ahead, 225 for victory. Even if he finishes 20th, he'll get 68. That would be enough.
Well, how much can we say about the guy? He's the most accomplished athlete. What other athlete and what other sport has done what he's done? I mean, he's won 7 out of 8 races this year. He's got a huge lead here of 3,600ths. It's like he's a video game. I mean, he's just so perfect. We saw a mistake in the first heat up there in the S's. Not here. And this is where, if there's ever a mistake he made, was down here a couple years ago. He crashed right here, finished 5th in the race. It was the only time he's been off the podium in like 7 years.
He makes those doodle look so wide.
What has he done wrong? Look at this. He's pulling away again. He's going to win.
Champion,
World champion,
and now
World Cup champion for the 7th straight year. Show me another athlete in another sport has done what this guy's done. He was second once this year to one.
Yun Jung-won claimed the one race that Martin Stukur's did not. Stukur's almost a clean sweep of gold across the season. And we were talking yesterday, some of the girls after their race, about Stukur's and said, how is it that he is so hungry still every day in training, every time he gets on track? He wants to learn, he wants to improve. There's
him and his father.
A proud family unit.
So another good day for the Dukars brothers, gold and bronze.
Yeah, and another great podium result for Sunbin Young of Korea. 1 win, 3 silver medals, 2 bronze medals, a 4th in Winterberg and a 12th in Altenburg. The only slight glitch in his season. Yun Jung-won will be the runner-up in the Crystal Globe race, and Thomas Dukurs will take 3rd place. But
a little small nation of 1.9 million people. I'm corrected. I said 3 million last week. 1.9 million people, and they win the World Championship in men's skeleton, 4-man bob. It's just amazing. And the ratings and the viewing numbers in Latvia.
Only 1.8 million watching, though. So there's 100,000.
The rating numbers are unbelievable when bob and skeleton are in this country. And you can understand when you have this guy winning every race. He's only not been on the podium 1 time in 70 races. And he's won like 48 of them.
And Pyeongchang in Korea, Martins is going to be one of the athletes who've been chosen in a random draw to go and homologate the track. So he will get the first view of the track where he will hope for the 3rd time lucky to beat local talent in the one thing that eludes him, the Olympic Games. But no illusion here. He won in December. He wins in February in Königssee, Bavaria. 7 wins from 8 World Cup starts. Sunbin Young of Korea taking the silver medal, the runner-up in the World Cup standings, and a winner in the most historic track of them all. He chose Samoritz to claim his gold medal, where the Dukurs brothers tied. And again, that's got to be a first in this sport for the European Championship gold. Martin Dukurs wins the World Cup crown. He will take away another Crystal Globe. We need to get a bigger thesaurus. There must be more superlatives instead of just what can we say about this man, because Martin Dukurs deserves even more superlatives. He just keeps rewriting the rules of what are possible in this sport.
So we're watching down in front of us the window. We can see everything happening, and you see all the athletes hugging each other. The skeleton season is over. It's been a pretty spectacular season for a lot of athletes. There's so many personal bests of the people we just covered. There's so many people that have proved from the previous year, and that's all you want to do as an athlete. But what can Martins Ducars do? How can he improve? He just won 8 of the 9 competitions and finished second. So how do you improve on that? Well, what do you do?
Win them all next year.
No, yes.
And then the year after, that's the big one.
He was so disappointing in the race in St. Moritz. He finished second.
The World Championships, but still won the
European Championship.
Yeah, the World Championships, okay. It's the Olympic Games in 2018. That is the focus that is going to spur him on for the next 2 years. Win, lose or draw in the World Cup, it will be the Olympic gold medal that will be his sole and primary occupation.
Look at the leaderboard, though.
Yeah.
It's a Latvian, Korea, Latvia in Bavaria.
Top Bavarian in 6th position, top German Axel Jung in 4th, Don Parsons in 5th between them.
With a lot of good nations there.
Yeah, it's a good mix of talent. Good to see Matt Antoine top 7. Great to see Raphael Meyer in 8th place as well.
6 different nations in the first 8. 7 in the first 9. 7 in the first 10. Yep. That's pretty good. Good leaderboard.
Good spread, considering
8 out of 11.
2 Latvians in there and 3 Germans in the top 10. The World Cup season ends as it began, with Martins Ducurs victorious and leading the standings. Sunbin Jung is the runner-up in the race for the Crystal Globe, 210 points behind, and Thomas Ducurs takes the 3rd spot away from Axel Jung in 4th, Don Parsons in 5th, and Matt Antoine in 6th position. So we round out our season as we started it, ending in Germany. We started in Augsburg, and we end in Königssee. And in between times, Martins Ducurs, the winner on both the opening and the closing day of the season, has added 7 more World Cup victories and a World Championship win to his illustrious and starry CV. And the Latvian Superman once more demonstrates astonishing ability, winning by a clear half-second over Sunbin Jung of Korea, and his brother Thomas Ducurs there on the right-hand side in 3rd spot. General Secretary of the IBSF, Heike Grosswang, hands out the flowers. And Sunbin Jung, again left watching Ducurs' final slide going, okay, whatever. Another year experience in the bank for him. He will be closer and closer to Martins with every passing race, and Ducurs knows that to be the case. Plus, you know that Jung will have home track knowledge. When this track opens in Pyeongchang, he will be spending as much time there as humanly possible looking for that Olympic gold. Well, that is it for our World Cup skeleton season. Women were done, men are done. On behalf of John Morgan, the IBSF TV crew, thank you for joining us. I'm Martin Haven. Join us next season for lots more racing. Until then, it's Auf Wiedersehen from Königssee.